Okay, bowlers, as soon as you are ready to begin competition, you can hit the orange keys on the console. Lane 22, we are going to repair that head pin. It's only going to take a second, so just be patient. Everybody else, hit that red key on your console, and you can begin competition. All right, go ahead. 21, 22, fire away.
Good afternoon. Oh no, it's not. It's not afternoon at all. I'm sorry. It is a good morning. Good morning to all of you wonderful people here on the Elite Stream, as it is major weekend here for the Elite Youth Tour. Dawson Cole, excuse me, just off camera, had the front four and then just picked up a very nice split over on lane 25, I believe it was. We are here behind lanes 27, 28, 29, and 30. That is our destination for the weekend, or at least for today. And we will be attempting to add a camera tomorrow, maybe even this afternoon, but definitely tomorrow for the Eliminator Finals. My name is Emil Williams Jr., courtesy of Bowl Stream TV, and you are watching the Battle Royale. It is a two-day event. It's a major on the Elite Youth Tour schedule, live from Joliet Town and Country Lanes in Joliet, Illinois. Riley Smith will be on to join me We'll talk about some bowling, talk about the patterns here this weekend. We've got 3 patterns. We start on the short condition. This is Avram Savage here on 29. Eason Taylor, who finished 7th in the U12 boys division. Looks like a good shot. Looked pretty good there. 3-6-10 here for Ethan. Bryce Jinks on his left. Aiden Cole. There's Landon Jordan. Landon fresh off another win at the U15 Junior Go Boys Championships, able to defend his title and repeat. He also claimed the a Bowler of the Year award in the U15 division. Here on the Elite Youth Tour, we'll talk about those winners here in a second as well. Actually mentioned Dawson Cole. He won the U12 Boys Bowler of the Year as well, along with Alyssa Bechtold in the girls division. U15 was Landon Jordan and great friend Gianna Brandolino. In U18, Isabella Colon and Bobby Hubetler took home the Bowler of the Year awards in that division. And in the U23 division, for the first time, a Bowler of the Year award given out, and the winner was Todd Renee Fournier. Ani Breedlove, Ariana Arajo, Jason Grothus over on 27. Nice shot. And Heather Stimble. But first, this is Breedlove. So new lanes here. We're going to get Jeff Bailey on at some point to talk about these new lanes and perhaps what to expect here at Joliet Town and Country Lanes. You know, new lanes can present some new challenges. It's a fresh surface, essentially, so there theoretically is no built-in memory, no house memory, if you will. Nico, that's right. Yeah, I'm a little early. I'm ready for it to be the afternoon already. Good news is we have bowling this afternoon. We've got obviously our 9 a.m., which is the short pattern, and then we're going to come back this afternoon. This is really more like and when I say a tour event, I'm going to reference the PWBA tour. That's a great spare by Eason Taylor. He didn't like it, but he got the job done. And already seeing slower ball speed, if you're trying to play the outside part of the lane, might be the best bet, because it doesn't look like that's going to be in play, which is a little strange on a short pattern. And speaking of tour, I just came off the PWBA tour and the PWBA Tour Championship in the Dallas Classic Series in Dallas, Texas. And I watched the players bowl on a short pattern where the outside portion, the gutter, did not play. It was strange to watch, but it made it increasingly difficult. We'll see if that will be the case here. Let's take a quick look at the lane condition today. Here's a story of a man named Grady who was bringing 3 boys of his own, or 4 all together. All right, let's take that off the screen for a second. Actually, before we do that, I'll wait for this introduction. He has put the headset on. He is someone who I would trust if I had to scale up, which I hope to do at some point, and I had multiple events in one weekend. He's someone I now would call, and I'd say, "Sir, are you available? Got something for you." And he's also extremely knowledgeable and a great champion and an excellent individual. He's also a fiance, and I'm just going to go on and on about him. But we are going to talk bowling, and please welcome in and give a warm welcome to Riley Smith.
Hold the applause. We're good here?
I should have had the sound effect.
Yeah, I want some clapping. No, thank you, Emil. I'm very humble with that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And I would absolutely say yes to any type of events that you would want me to help out with. I would love to do that. But yeah, thanks everybody. Well, welcome to the EYT. I'm very happy to be here. A major event for us, so a major champion will be crowned. coming at the end of tomorrow. But 2-day event, I'm very happy to be here. Someone asked how I'm doing today, and I said, it's an EYT day. I'm great.
I like that. I'll tell you a story about great here in just a second. Riley, I'm going to put you just right on the spot immediately.
Sure.
You know, my first question is typically something about lane conditions.
Yeah.
You have a lot to do typically with the lane conditions on the Elite U Tour in general. I probably had a little bit to do, of course, but I know Kegel and JJ had a lot of hands in designing this weekend's patterns. So I'm going to throw the pattern on the screen. I know you've got it ready to go. What are the players going to be bowling on, or what are they bowling on, and kind of what might they be focusing on this short lane condition? Here it is.
Yep, so our first block here is going to be on a custom-made 2022 EYT Battle Royale short pattern. So I'll go through some of the demographics here of it, the details, and then we'll talk about what we're seeing. So 36 feet, these are the key components that I'll look at. 36 feet, the volume oil total is 25 milliliters. The overall ratio is 1.7 to 1, both for the righties and the lefties.
It's hard.
And that is near U.S. Open,
Yeah.
USBC Masters. Like, the 1-to-1 is the hardest that you could make a bowling pattern to have flat oil straight across the lane. And 1.7 is right there with 1-to-1 ratios. So by demographics and on paper, this is the most challenging EYT pattern that we've had all season. And then, interestingly enough, we'll see the bowlers in the second block and the third block, but those by demographics and ratios are quote unquote the easiest patterns that we've had all season on the EYT. But the cool thing about an expert like JJ, who made these patterns, from the very high level, those key indicators that I just went through, it might not tell the whole story. And that's where, JJ's expertise and all of his years of creating patterns, bowling on patterns, and lane surfaces comes into play. So I'll get into a little bit more detail here. We've got the pattern on the screen there on the right. So if you're able to see on the screen or pull it up on your phone, if we were to zoom in on the lane where all that blue oil is, you'll see boards 1, 2, 3, and 4 are low volume oil. And what that does is creates more friction and allows bowlers to essentially bounce or curve the ball more aggressively off the gutter. And we actually had a really good example on lane 28 there. 1, 2, 3, and 4 are coming hard off the pattern, high friction. So although it's 1.7 to 1, yes, you have to be very accurate. That buffer that we have on the outside might make it a little bit, quote unquote, easier. A little bit easier for bowlers to curve it from the gutter. So what I've been seeing in front of us and throughout the center, I was walking around talking to some key bowlers and asking, what's the game plan today? Really, the deciding factor is between urethane reaction or a resin reactive bowling ball. It seems like it's a mix. The older squads, U23, U18, seem to be leaning towards urethane, and the younger bowlers seem to be leaning towards reactive. So that'll play a big factor. Urethane pushes the oil down, breaks down the front part of the lane, but pushes oil down, and reactive essentially just sucks up the oil and a sort of evaporation technique. So overall, I think today is going to be really challenging for our bowlers in this block. I think spares are important. And really, I would say for the bowlers is to be fearless towards the gutter. Trust it. Trust the gutter as your friend, because if you get it to the right, we're going to see some reaction off that spot.
I was just talking to the viewers, and appreciate that breakdown. It just came off the PBA Tour Championship in the Dallas Classic Series, and specifically at that event, there was a short pattern. It was the first event, or part of the first event of the 3-event series. The gutter really didn't play, which was very strange, obviously, for a short pattern, which made it at least for that weekend or those 2 days, extremely or increasingly difficult
Oh, yeah.
to try to develop a ball reaction.
Oh, yeah. I can imagine.
It got better as the tournament went on because, you had everybody kind of doing everything during qualifying and trying to figure it out. And as the cuts were made and more or less players were competing, a couple days bowling on or a couple blocks bowling on it, you got the ball reps figuring some things out. And it got better, but no one really still had a good feel for the gutter, which it had been a long time I had seen a short pattern not play on the gutter.
Yeah, those are the days that I would be happy to be at home and not bowling. And really, I think the number one factor which would make that so difficult is that you don't have a lot of oil on the lane. If it's 35, 36 feet, you still have half of the lane remaining. It's from foul line to the back of the pin, it's 60 feet. So when you move left on a short pattern and your ball is crossing maybe that third arrow or so, for example, and then you're trying to get a little bit of a belly on it and curve it from maybe the right to the left, there's not a lot of oil to allow the ball to get down lane. So once it exits the pattern at 36 feet, there's no oil. There's literally no oil left on the lane other than carry down, and that ball is immediately firing up friction and trying to curve. So that's why it's so hard for short patterns to play left.
Landon Jordan with a double, already with a couple of final scores here in game one. It's already proven to be a little difficult. We've seen a few bowling balls go in the channel or the gutter, which, for some, and even for adults, and I think it's important to say this, even for some adult players, the gutter on the short pattern still can be a tricky thing, and just a natural, hey, I don't want to throw it in the gutter, right? So, but you got to get there. Sometimes you got to get as close as you can and kind of trust your execution.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and trust is huge there, Emil. It's a natural tendency for us. If you were practicing at home and say you wanted to play up 5, it's a natural tendency. If you were to start with your feet on the 5 board and then I'm going to play straight up 5 and walk towards that target, you'll get a natural drift to where your body and like your brain feels more comfortable because you're a bowler. I'm too close to the gutter. I don't want to throw a gutter ball, right. And you'll naturally drift towards the center of the lane. It's a really hard concept to get through, but trust right there and repetition will get you there. So I think I'll just summarize my last comment here. Excellent spare.
Huge spare by Ariana Araujo there.
I'll summarize the lane strategy with one more point here. We talked about the demographics of it. The 1 through 4 boards are a little bit lighter oil, and now we talked about some bowling balls. But really, the key contributor here as you execute your shots, I think it's going to be up the back ball rotation, where your hand is really far behind the bowling ball, and you have end over end ball roll. That's going to blend out this pattern. If you miss a little bit left, if you miss a little bit right of target, that's going to blend it out, and you'll have more of a miss room than if you would have more rotation. And that's because your ball is trying to go forward towards the head pin, whereas if you had more side roll, it's kind of tracking towards the gutter, or if it comes off the pattern too hard, it's going to go violently left of the head pin. So I'm looking for people that are out here with nice touch and really up the back ball rotation. I think that'll be the most success, and then spares.
High game on 27 and 28, 173. That was Bryce Jenks. The neighbors with a 171. Landon Jordan, obviously the bowler of the year in U15 back-to-back boys champion junior gold.
Incredible.
Had some early struggles, couple of splits, missed a single pin, and just threw a decent shot there. Leaves a 4-pin, makes it. He'll go to the fill shot and go through the nose. So, just goes to show, even for obviously someone like of Landon's caliber, first game on this pair, the fresh on this short pattern does seem to present a few hiccups for even the best players.
Yeah, something that Landon's usually really good at is coming out with a strong first game. It's challenging. Fresh is typically the most challenging condition to bowl on, and you usually see him after practice. Those last minute or couple minutes of practice, he knows what he's doing. He's got his bowling ball. He's lined up. He probably threw a double in practice, and then he's ready to go. And in this first game, the viewers, I think he made 4 ball changes in one game. So he's not quite there yet, but he's still learning what the lane's giving him, and he's got a couple extra games today where he can make up some pins.
A couple extra games indeed. Again, we've got 6 games on this morning short pattern. And instead of having the normal eliminator finals this afternoon, we're going to have another squad of 6 games, and we're going to bowl on a different pattern, and that's going to be the long pattern. So from one extreme to the other here today. And then tomorrow we will come back 1 hour earlier at 8 a.m. Central Time and bowl 6 additional games on a medium lane condition. And then after 18 games, this is the longest event of the season. We'll have 18 games of qualifying to determine who is going to advance to our eliminator finals across each division. If you haven't already, please share this broadcast, share this live stream across your social channels. All right, good spare for Ariana. She gets a small applause, and she had a little bit of a smile. And I understand what Ariana was thinking about, I'm sure. A tough game here, but this is what builds character and champions. That's a good ball change. Seeing what something looks like on the field, looks like maybe some urethane, which might be a very good play for her. She might be able to be in a better position to control the pocket. And sometimes that's all you really want to do, is just be able to control the pocket the best way you can. Game 2 is on its way. We've got a couple of pin links for you. We've got results. We've got lane assignments if you're curious where a particular player is going to be. Riley is going to go down and get a few scores. We will have various members of the Elite Youth Tour team on the lanes. I'm sorry, on the broadcast throughout the day, and including tomorrow as well. So it should be a very fun event. It's going to be a great event. In fact, if you have any questions, feel free to drop those in the chat or in the comment section at any point in time. It's going to be a long event. No one is out of it, certainly. And whoever obviously can figure out the best ways to score and strike will be successful. Emil Williams Jr. here with you. It's the Elite Stream, courtesy of Bowl Stream TV. Big thanks to all of our sponsors, Storm, Turbo, Gale Volschel, High Five, and 2 additional sponsors. Shout out to Paul Schroeder, Fast Track Physio, as well as Bowl Dry. There's Paul. Make sure to check out Paul, Fast Track Physio, if you're in the Chicagoland area. My man puts in work as a physical therapist, working on some of the greatest champions, including Diandra Asbaty. He was actually down in he did some work at the Queens as well in Addison, Illinois. So we appreciate Paul. All right, game 2. Cameron Alberts gets us started here on 29 and 30. There's Hayden Smrekar, Peyton Wernett. Ramiro Garcia also on the pair. I see Charlie Wiedmeyer. Always has fans from afar watching. Ramiro with some urethane in his hand. We'll see. Haven't seen too many urethane bowling balls going down the lane on this short pattern. And speaking of that, Peyton with urethane in his hand as well, attacking it from a little bit of a different angle than Ramiro. Nice shot by Garcia. Spencer Bruinsma. We'll get the count on later today about how many different athletes are represented here this week from the varying states, obviously, across this country. I think it's going to be a nice turnout of different states. I already know that I think Florida, North Carolina, and I'm just speaking of states represented, and obviously those from outside of Illinois. Indiana, you see Hayden with the jersey with his home state represented on the back. Well, that looked like a pretty good spare opportunity there, and one just did not quite get up the hill. Interesting pattern here. This is going to be difficult. And if you follow the Elite U Tour, you know that difficulty is part of the equation. Building champions and really gaining knowledge on varying lane conditions. Garcia with an early double, a nice one. Two very good shots. Able to use his rev rate and power with urethane to not only control essentially the pocket, but not have obviously his equipment overreact based on his equipment selection. Game 2 of 6. It is also National Bowling Day. So I hope all of you, if you get an opportunity today, get out and throw the bowling ball. If not, we appreciate you tuning in and hanging out with us and watching today here on Bowl Stream TV. Rymac is in the building. For those of you who may be unfamiliar with Ryan McDaniel, he is life of a PWBA husband on TikTok. If you're wondering what that's about, well, his wife, is a professional bowler. She's also a great help and standout star here on the Elite Youth Tour. We appreciate her. Her name is Melanie. But you should follow Ryan on TikTok and all of his social media. He does cool stuff. Tour just ended, so I'm not sure how he's going to fill his time now since the PWBA has ended, unfortunately. But hopefully we'll still see good stuff from him via social media. Tony, thank you for checking in. We do wish her the best. Would love to have her here. First things first, feel better. Ryan McDaniel, that's a great point I talked about early on, and Riley is back with us, and we'll talk about that actually right now. Riley, as you know, new lane service here, Joliet Town and Country. Now, I was not privy to bowling on the old surface, I think. And if I was, it was many, many, many years ago. So I'm not sure how many lane installs they've had as a center, but they've got a new one. And we know that new lanes typically will make things play tougher than what they maybe even should be or could be based on the lack of house memory, et cetera, et cetera. What does a new lane install typically do or what should you be looking for if you know you're going into an event with a new lane install, no matter what the pattern is at that point?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So from my knowledge here, the pattern, the lanes were installed within the last 3 or so weeks, within the last month. And when you enter a tournament with new lanes, there's not going to be a defined topography. And for those at home, topography here, it's the lay of the land. So you think of like mountains that we have in the Rocky Mountains and things like that. And if you looked at it on a map, a topography map of like the U.S., you would see different colors, red, yellow, blue, and that tells you the topography of the lay of the land. And the same thing happens on bowling lanes with topography. You might have, like in front of the counter here, you might have a lot of open bowling that comes out in front of us. You might have a lot of leagues that bowl on the low end of the house. And based on the type of bowlers that are on these lanes, reoccurring shots creates topography because it's a synthetic surface. Back in the day, it was a wood surface, and every shot does something different to the lane. We talked about earlier, it has friction and things like that. So the reason I give you that background is because today, very minimal topography right now. Still within the last month they were installed, so they're setting, the lanes are setting, and like the foundation, when it's cold, when it's warm, foundation expands, shrinks. Same with the earth, right? It's always moving a little bit. That all has impacts on topography. So that's a really big thing to think about. But entering this tournament today, you've got to come into it with an open mind where you're expecting. I was speaking with some people around the bowling alley today. They did have a highly certified, experienced gentleman come in with a crew and install these lanes. So I would be confident that these are fairly level lanes, not a lot of, loose screws that might be lifting a board up and things like that. So I would say pretty flat lanes across the house, come in with an open mind and take it lane by lane if one's a little bit tighter than the other until repeat bowlers start coming in. Then you'll see the topography shape. But overall, should be good flat conditions for consistent ball reaction.
Sounds like, and I'll ask Jeff about this, but sounds like Jeff's getting prepared maybe for a run at a professional event.
That'd be awesome.
You get new lanes, the bowling center that has obviously been a very great staple in this Joliet and really Chicagoland bowling community. New lanes, I can tell you from working with the United States Bowling Congress and the PWBA, and just thinking about, you just mentioned topography and varying things like that, obviously. New lanes, for me, especially if I'm a proprietor, I'm like, well, I just got a new lane. So as long as I can afford, a week, let's just say a week of, downtime and having the best in the world compete at my center, seems like a good idea. So
Yeah.
Hopefully that's on the radar for Jeff. That'd be very cool.
I would really like that. That'd be awesome. And it's large, 44 lanes. So I believe that's plenty of space.
It's ideal, actually.
Yeah.
And I'm just speaking from experience.
Yeah.
44 lanes is plenty. 32, at least on the PWBA side of things, 32 is the minimum. That gets you 5 on the lane,
Yep.
80. And when you have 32, you're looking at a max of 80 entries. Obviously, the more lanes, the more entries that you can have at the facility. But I know Jeff does it great. Just got a chance to see his daughter Taylor a little bit last week as well.
Yeah, she's out there bowling.
Former McKendree alum, just like you.
Love to see the McKendree people out there. Special place in my heart.
Had a chance to look at Tyler Williams, 27-28. A little late to get started. And seeing the pair to their left already in the 8th frame. We
did have a small issue with the head pin. I think it was on around 15, 16 around that area. But they were coming from a pair to the right of that, so I'm not quite they have the same amount of bowlers, so I'm not sure what happened on their pair. But we did have a small breakdown.
I think they're on 22.
22?
I think this group started on 22, which I believe also or it might have been the lead lane with the brief head pin issue, so they started competition late.
Makes sense. But quick to repair, to your point.
Yes.
Well-run center. If there's an issue, we called it back, and before we even knew it, there was someone on the lane working hard to fix it.
Well, that's all you're hoping for when you're at any facility, and we appreciate the good folks here at Joliet Town and Country Lanes. Will Hudson, Olivia Lizzie. That's a pretty, talking about bowling royalty right there. Olivia Lizzie is the daughter of Kathy and Jeff Lizzie. Kathy Dorn Lizzie is here. I'm pretty sure I saw her, and there's Jeff right there, actually.
Cool.
For those of you who maybe, that name sounds familiar. Well, you remember Kathy and Jeff, both from their respective professional touring days. Kathy is the sister of Carolyn Dorn Ballard. So that now it might all start ringing together for you at home. CDB was briefly in or at USA Bowl, which is where we had the PWBA Dallas Classic Series and the Tour Championship last week. And then I believe she went to, I want to say she went with Alyssa to compete somewhere. I think at a big national event, team championship run by Billy Gasson in Delaware. There's Abby Starkey, both Olivia and Carolyn's daughter, which would be Olivia's cousin. Alyssa Ballard competed at Junior Gold.
Is Olivia from this area?
No, they live in Ohio.
Ohio. That's great to see them come in for this.
Yep.
Awesome.
The other cool thing about this event is, we get a lot of youth athletes, obviously, that travel to bowl the Elite Youth Tour. That's how special the tour is. And I think parents specifically, the athletes certainly, but the parents also understand what they're getting when they do bring their athlete to an event, right? To be challenging, great community, opportunity to learn the friendships, the bonds, the camaraderie, et cetera. Specifically with this event, you're guaranteed 2 days, right? So we bowl a lot today, but there's no cut. So you get 2 days worth, 18 games worth to advance to the eliminator finals in your respective division. So, this one is like, hey, we're not going to, spend what we're going to spend, obviously, because you got to get here, right? There are expenses. And then risk the chance to, fortunately be eliminated, which happens from time to time, obviously, in a standard event. But this weekend specifically, you get 2 days, so you can plan for 2 days. And obviously, a lot of individuals will be leaving tomorrow afternoon, night, whatever the case may be. So
it does make it easier to plan, like to your point, right? You don't have that question of, well, are we going to be done on Saturday or done on Sunday?
Right.
That makes it easier to plan for it. So also the new bowlers that we have in this field, it was great to see before the event. Diandra asked them to raise their hand and be acknowledged as new participants of the EYT. So it's great to see. I love how each event it seems like we have more and more new bowlers in the EYT tour. very exciting. So I had an opportunity to talk with one of the parents of a new bowler, and she was over by the merchandise area, taking it all in, asking questions, and I was filling her in. At the first moment that you walk into an EYT, you'll see how much of a welcoming atmosphere that we have here.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I love the most about it. Between all the other great stuff that we have, it's a very welcoming environment. Anyone and everyone is more than welcome to bowl. And it's just so much fun, And she felt that. That was something that she mentioned was a big reason why they came out today. And hopefully we have a repeat bowler.
I missed what spare was just made over on the right side.
I didn't see that one either. Looks like a 5 spare.
It was a huge washout. Maybe the 1, 3, 4, 7, 10, perhaps. Keeps a nice game going too over on 31 and 32. The spare there by Olivia Lizzie. When we get a chance, so we'll see Ramiro Garcia up here in just a second. He'll be up on 29 and 30 momentarily, Riley. Talk about his path to the pocket. He's got 5 out of 6 with first young Tyler Williams. Shout out to Kelly.
He's playing a pretty good line, and what we were talking about earlier was the natural ability to drift left with your feet. Tyler's doing a very good job avoiding that natural tendency of walking away from the gutter and towards the center of the lane. He's doing a very good job keeping his feet in front of him and sliding very close to where he's starting, and that's what's allowing him to set the ball down on that 5 or 6 board. That's a big advantage on the short pattern today.
Tyler, one of the, what I would say, the up-and-coming youth prospects. There's Garcia again. And the two-handed righty with, he's got his purple urethane working hard today. Good spare by Tyler. Very close to it making the advancers cut at junior gold. Tyler, to me, is just experience away at this point. I think, and we've all been young before. As the physical body just matures in general, generally you see more upticks in one's physical game as that continues to mature and it all comes together. Tyler's super close, I think.
That's a really good point you make, and we've seen him now, I think, for a couple of years. If I remember, he's been bowling these EYTs, and a couple of years ago, he wasn't as strong, right? He wasn't as tall, wasn't as built, but he still had a similar style. He still had the backswing and a lot of power and everything like that. So he was, I guess you could say, a little bit out of control, if you wanted to put it that way. And out here today, a lot better. He posted it at the line. Excellent shot. Still has the same backswing, same smooth release and everything like that. Just he's more in control of his body now, and that's the awareness that you get, I think, as you grow.
One of my favorite parts of watching youth bowling is seeing literally the growth. From the time they begin, and you've had more years on the EYT tour now than me, Riley, but, before I would just see players at junior gold. Now I see them here and at varying other events and at junior gold, and you just see you see them all more times now during the year than I used to or you used to, for example.
Yeah. And it's very exciting. You get to see them constantly work on their game. And not only grow, right? We always get to see them work on their game. A big example I'll mention is Ethan Caruso, who's become a very good, talented bowler, making names for himself. He shot 300 at junior gold. Mm-hmm. A big change that he made that we were able to watch and it was really exciting was, yes, he grew a lot. He's become a lot taller than he was when he started this tour, but he was a one-handed righty, and now he's a two-handed righty. So huge. You get to see as all these kids work so hard at their game, and you can see what they work on and all these changes that they make, big or small, and that's a great example of something that we've seen him grow into his own game.
Great point, and that's actually something I did not know about Ethan. I was just talking to their dad, and I learned that Brandon now has incorporated a two-handed game.
So he can do both.
Yep.
Because today he's bowling one-handed. So he's got the option to do both.
And it sounds like it's a tool that he uses when maybe it's a little toasty, maybe he's got to get a little further left. But how about the ability now of youth athletes to be able to, switch from one-handed to two-handed? The first person personally that I saw do this was Daniel Farish, who was a collegiate teammate of mine, and he would just kind of mess around. We bowled with Brian Valenta, who very known in this particular area, right? If you grew up in this area, you probably know Brian. But one of the first really great two-handed youth players, collegiate players, has had some success professionally. But Daniel used to watch him, and obviously, so he started messing around with it and really started practicing on it. Nice shot by Abby, and great rebound after the missed single pin there in the 5th. As we watch Alexis Bourne here go for the spare. But and so he put in the work, and it's still a part of his game. It's when he needs to go to it, he'll do it. Yeah. And having that ability, it's pretty impressive. Shout out to Justin Bone too. He's done that transition as well.
Yeah, that's a very talented bowler. I mean, I think of myself, and I would have to practice a lot to become a good two-handed bowler. But for a lot of these bowlers, the youth and whatnot, it seems like it comes naturally for them. They've seen it so often, then they try to put it into their repertoire, and it seems like it comes natural. Maybe it doesn't, and it does come with a lot of hours of practice, but it's a great tool to have. Great trick in your toolbox to bring out. Very interesting. I think of you mentioned a couple names. I kind of think of although he doesn't do it, Anthony Simonson kind of is a professional bowler that, and a lot of people know, everyone should know who he is. Very young professional bowler, and he has a normal two-handed righty style. He can also do a backup righty two-handed backup ball where it's like a lefty look on the lane. And I kind of wonder if that has any spillover to these youth bowlers becoming more versatile like that, because he kind of came onto the scene, won a PBA event, throwing it back up right-handed, two-handed. And I kind of wonder if some youth were thinking, oh, wow, look at that versatility. I'm going to think about one-handed and two-handed, creativity type of deal. So I wonder if he was a pioneer for that.
I would think so. I'm looking at young Ramiro here. Watch his game.
He got away with one, but very simple two-handed game. He's walking. It's almost like a Cal Troop type of walk with the ball. He doesn't really have that hop step that two-handers typically have, but he's long. He's got very long arms. He's strong. He seems like he's developed into his body. Tall, long legs, long arms, leverage. Very smooth two-handed approach. And you had mentioned earlier, he's got a great game going. Looking at 270 here, and I've seen up the back ball roll, and he's playing close to the gutter. That 6 or so to 4. He's not really swinging it too much. He's got a little bit of a belly on his approach, on his shot, not too much, and keeping the ball in front of him. So I think through that combination right there, up the back ball roll, consistent reaction.
I'm going to challenge our good people of the Elite Stream and EYT fans to help us. At some point today, I'd like to see this stream get 100 live viewers. 100 live at some point today. Doesn't have to be right now. We're going to be streaming all day. There will be a break after 6 games. We'll have a break, and then we'll be back at it at 2 p.m. On the long pattern. So between today and tomorrow. Nice shot. It's shot by Hayden. Abigail Starkey had a very nice junior gold event. I think just a few shots away. A couple matches go her way. She's on the U15 TV show with Gianna Brandolino.
Yeah, Abby took 14th.
A quality shot there by Tyler. After that first, after the first frame, nothing but single pins, and that's a really good sign too. You're just trying to really control the pocket as well, especially on this short pattern, because it's easy to get away from you.
Yes, I love that phrase that you just said. Control the pocket. Love that phrase. Any youth bowlers or college bowlers, I'm sure that's a phrase many coaches are saying nowadays is control the pocket. Yeah, excellent game going on right now for Tyler. 9 spares are great. Like strikes, we love strikes. We love to strike, strike, strike. But 9 spares, that means you're in it. You're controlling the pocket, and there's minor changes that you can make here. Little here, little there to try to get out the 10 pin, get out the 7 pin. Minor things, but when you control the pocket, you're in control of your game. Your spare game follows it, and it's typically much success.
Nice job by Will Hudson there. Will with his first double of the game. Ramiro has been solid and continues to be. Garcia.
Length two-handed up the back. I like it. That's a lethal combination on short patterns.
Makes it 6 in a row. He's in the 260s here in game 2 on the short pattern. Again, short pattern for 6 games. Long pattern this afternoon, 6 games. Tomorrow morning, 6 games on a medium pattern before we make cuts to the Eliminator Finals.
Had a couple good 10th frames, 9th and 10th frames on our pair in front of us, 29 and 30. A couple of doubles leading into the 10th frame, a couple of doubles in the 10th frame. A lot of pins to make up right there. No doubter.
Just continues to pummel the pins. There's Ramiro. We got the links for results in the comment section, folks. If you haven't checked that out, please do.
If I'm Romero, I'm just striking. I mean, I'm not trying to make any changes here. Don't overthink it. You've got a great look, probably the best look in the house right now. Keep steady. Just keep moving, keep going at it, and move on to the next game. Stay locked in.
Nicely done there. 276 and all but 2. That Phil shot, and there was one other that went Brooklyn, but he was just acing them.
Yes. I mean, those 2 in the 10th frame were no doubters. The pins are just going straight back. So he's got really good ball reaction right now. It's not deflecting at all. Another bowler that's executing very well. He's avoiding the drift to the left towards the center of the lane. He's committing to the gutter, walking towards the gutter. It's allowing him to set the ball down fairly far right.
Spencer had an opportunity to get into the 220s. Maybe missed a hair left, leaves a 4-7. Spare strike will get him to 200 even.
Yeah, Spencer does have a good look as well. He had a turkey in this game, a couple missed spares, unfortunately, but he has a good look. Control in the pocket as well. Even though he missed a little bit on that one, leaving the 4-7 combination is fine. That's a spare that we can make. Good cover.
Repping his 2022 Junior Gold Championships jersey. Pretty good time in Grand Rapids, 2 weeks. If you were in U12, U15, or U18, it was 1 week for you. And then the U20 division kicked off the event again in July. 248 for Lizzie. Oh, roll, and 200 even. Message for Spencer. Nice job. Seeing a piece of equipment, too, that was looked to be more of a slower response. And you hear those terms maybe often. Slower response, meaning the response time off the friction. So when it sees friction either down lane, wherever it may be, it's slower to respond to that friction, meaning it shouldn't jump, just like you saw Spencer's. Kind of more of an arcing type motion.
Yeah.
You don't typically want, and it depends on the player certainly, but especially on the shorter pattern, you don't want to see too much from a fast or quick response because you might find yourself leaving a lot of designs, splits you don't want to see going through the nose, through the head pin often. Similar to what Tyler Williams is doing. Slow response, maybe some urethane for him, or at least something that has some surface and is a bit controllable. But at the same time, you watch, Will Hudson. This one, maybe he's got a little bit of shine or at least some lane shine, but his ball speed is kind of working for him. So when it does see friction, you can actually see the move made, and it's kind of sharp, but it's also kind of controlled. Let's see if he does it here again. I think he missed left, but you saw the motion there. It was like hook, and then they saw the friction, and then it started to turn up. I think he's got a little bit of end-over-end roll as well, which helps, like you just mentioned. How about Olivia Lizzie? Love the jersey.
She made a ball change. Leaked that one right at target.
Good spare. We'll take it the hard way. I'll take a 310 anyway. Textbook way, hard way, an impossible way. Any 310 that's converted, I'm in.
Yeah, even throw the 6-pin in there too, 3-6-10.
Yeah, definitely that one. I mean, that's.
But you made a lot of good points there. I do agree. The control reaction off the spot instead of a violent reaction. Yeah, very, very important with this short pattern. And essentially you were getting into the concept of the 3 phases of bowling: skid, hook, and roll. And you don't want to have a lot of, you want it to hook in the right spot on this lane, but you don't want it to hook down lane, because if it's hooking down lane, that's where you're going to have that big back end hockey stick motion, and sometimes you can get grandma's teeth out there. A lot of splits.
I haven't seen or heard that phrase in like outside of a video game in a while. Starkey, 10th frame. Cisco, Nathan Cisco. Willie Dangerfield has joined us as well, along with Winston Petrie.
I like how we have the names on our screens today.
That's so lovely.
Oh, it's so much better.
Shout out to Town and Country Lanes here at Joliet. It's Allison Roberts. Nice opening spare. This is game 3 on 29 and 30. 27-28 is still finishing up game 2 if you're scoring at home. Petrie with one of the best games I've seen across the youth bowling.
Yeah, he's very smooth. I mean, if you were to come in and watch this tournament and you see a couple of shots, he's going to stand out. You won't even know that you're watching him, and next thing you know, side of your eye, you'll catch that release. Very smooth release.
Greek Church there for Tyler. Maybe missed a hair left.
He got the turkey. That was huge. He got that bonus in the first of the 10th there. So here, take your count, move on. Very good game.
Oh, make it. Why don't you, Tyler?
Why not make it? Yeah.
Solid game nonetheless. 2-11.
Yeah, that's a very good game.
Starkey, strike to get to 180. She'll shoot 177. Again, this is game 2. Griffin Jordan now over on 29 and 30. Again, that pair is into game 3. Griffin finished 4th. Tied for 4th at the Junior Gold U15 division boys championships. Of course, his twin brother Landon won, but Griffin did earn himself a spot on the Junior Team USA developmental team. So the Jordan brothers are on the U15. The Junior Team USA developmental squad.
That's so good for their future. That's amazing. I mean, to go to those camps and learn from all these excellent coaches, very, very good for them and their future in bowling.
Back to back. Or I should say, with a strike in between 310 situations here for Will, but he's going to get into the 170s after the slow start. Petrie going Brooklyn. He'll take it.
We said Winston's got excellent hand. Very good game. The physical game is very good. If I had a moment with him, I would suggest to him to be a little bit more aggressive towards the foul line, so the viewers can see as he's approaching the foul line, instead of like a plane that's landing and how the plane continues to soar and go through the land and then it makes a break. right towards the end of the runway, he's coming up a little bit short. So he's kind of cutting that landing down a little bit and almost like a deceleration. Makes it a little bit harder to hit your mark and be accurate. I would like to see a little more aggression towards the foul line and land that bowling ball with projection instead of kind of coming up short on it. Does that make sense?
It does. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah. And I'm sure that's something he's aware of, but that'll take his game to that next level.
Nice breakdown here from Riley Smith. Riley's going to be in and out. Don't forget about the scores.
Yeah, I'm gonna run around, take some scores.
Okay.
Also, I'll be around to get some of our lunch orders. It's approaching that time here in the Central Standard Time.
Let me go look at that menu I was sent.
So we'll be back.
All right, a couple more shots here for Olivia Lizzie, and we will officially finish game 2. Good shot. That was a really good shot there. Nathan Cisco. 1-2-4 for Cisco. Griffin is waiting for the 7-pin to be respot. Gabe Castro. When was the last time I saw Gabe Castro? I feel like maybe the July event. July EYT. We'll talk about the schedule here in a second, or throughout the day, or in our various broadcasts as well. Keep you updated on when the next EYT events will be and where they are. 178 for Olivia Lizzie, and that's going to officially do it for game number 2. And game number 3 officially on and popping. We'll see our new cast of players on 27 and 28 in just a second. All right, good spare for Griffin. As you come in and out of the broadcast today, feel free to, in fact, I encourage you to let us know who you're rooting for, maybe who's your favorite athlete, who's competing this week, and where you're from. It's just a part of the broadcast to get to know the fan base a little bit. Some of us or some of you are regulars to the Elite Stream, and we appreciate you. Mike rooting for Zane. Appreciate you for saying hello. Ty did have a great line and great finish. I think after maybe a little bit into the middle of game 3 here, we will check to see. All right, folks, hang tight. It is food order time, which is a very important situation for any broadcaster, especially a bowling one. We're going to need energy for today. This weekend is like, it's the Elite Youth Tour, but this one's going to be more like a professional tour. We've got 2 squads today, 2 different patterns, and we come back tomorrow and essentially do it all over again until we get to some champions. So feel free to let me know what's happening, where you are, who you're rooting for, and when we come back in just a few minutes, we'll talk about that hopefully. Talk to you, see what the results may look like here after a couple of games, and have some fun here this morning. We've got silent auction options as well. We'll tell you about those coming up. We'll also get into, hopefully, some of our players filled out some good questionnaire items to learn more about who is bowling this week. That's all coming up. You're watching the Battle Royale 2022 edition. My name is Emil Williams Jr. Riley Smith in the building with me as well. You're watching the Elite Stream, courtesy of Bowl Stream TV. All right, folks, welcome back. Game 3. Uh-oh. I never changed that, huh? Oh, I didn't press the button. Game 3 has been underway for 29 and 30. And we now have our new group on 27 and 28, but there is a front 9. Right now, Jacob Chavez. He's on 37 and 38. Trying to do Jacob some justice here, and we'll turn the camera a little bit for, see if we can get a sneak peek or a peek at his potential big game here. If you're just joining us, you are watching Elite Youth Tour Battle Royale. It's a major on the tour schedule. 2 days of competition, 3 patterns, 3 qualifying blocks. Get 18 games. It's all one tournament. The same field bowls, the same amount of games, and they bowl on each pattern before a cut, or I should say cuts, to the eliminator finals in the respective divisions, U12, U15, U18, and U23. Those cuts will take place tomorrow after 18 games are complete. Oh, man. 4-9 there for Winston. I mentioned the front 9. Chavez will be up shortly. So we will momentarily turn our attentions away from 27, 28, 29, and 30. And try to, again, it's going to be a tough angle. Nearly a 4-9 made. I just came across or came from a center that had an incredible amount of, incredible amount of 4-9s left. So Chavez is going to come into your frame. That's him right there. Ball going down the lane. And it looks like a 7 count there. So nice run by Mr. Chavez. Nice spare made in the 9th from Griffin Jordan. If you're just joining us again, we have the front 9. Chavez, I did not see his final. But I'll get you an update. All right, Aubrey Kittle. Appreciate you, Aubrey. Nancy's, love you, Jacqueline. Mark said, good luck, Alexis. She was just on our featured pairs. Eric Roberts and Chloe Ciziga just wrapped up her first year down at, or I should say just down the way at Judson University. Here's Macy Jones, super talented. Asking that one to push just a little bit longer. It just leaves a 4-pin. Meanwhile, Gracie French. This opening shot here. Game 3 again already done here on 29 and 30 just about. And we've had a pair, at least one pair who started the day behind due to the lane issue that was quickly fixed, but it did cause a brief delay. Oh my, Griffin Jordan sending pins. Oh, big fella. .164. Allison representing the Amateur Youth Bowlers Tour as well on her jersey. Griff on the fill. 201. Willie gets to 194. Nathan 146. Winston 170. And again, high on the pair, Griffin Jordan at 201. Turn our attention down again to 27 and 28. Ainsley McConaughey, Samantha French. Here's Aiden Solzener, representing Michigan. Class of 2023, that senior year is going to start. If it hasn't started already, it is back to school for a lot of individuals across the country, and even certainly the state of Illinois, seeing the, as many parents I see post the obligatory first day of school photo. Same situation here on the right lane for Macy Jones, another 4-pin. She's close. We appreciate you tuning in. If you haven't already, please share. Let's get our viewership as high as we can get it this weekend. Alyssa Bechtel officially starts game 4 on 29 and 30, but game 3 still ongoing on 27 and 28. Bechtel, the recipient of the U12 Girls Bowler of the Year Award, as Nate Taverna starts with a nice strike on lane 30. Abry Young, it's a great spelling for Abry. Erica DeBello on this pair as well. I think it's either, it might even be as weird as this might sound, maybe a small move right for Macy. Looks like we already had a mystery score winner. Mystery score is sponsored by Bowl Dry Enterprises. My guy Bowl Dry Greg, the best in keeping your bowling hand cool, or yourself cool in general, certainly as the summer months continue, and specifically inside the bowling center where it can get warm in the settee area. You definitely want to get yourself a fan. Check out Bowl Dry, again, Bowl Dry Enterprises. We'll go over the numbers of this pattern again. We'll reset everything once we start, well, once 27 and 28 get into game 4. Solzener. Big spare. We've seen a couple of, actually a lot on 27 and 28, ironically enough, in regards to gutter balls today. There's been a few, and you expect to see a few on a short pattern. Short pattern definitely proving to be a little tough. We had to have some decent games, though. 260, 270. Now's a good time to check the results. Let's do that here. Amy. For Luke, our guy Luke Swatolski. Of course, Phil got the party started this morning. Another wonderful rendition of the national anthem. All right, let's see what the results look like so far here. Let's start with the U12 boys. And let's see, Madden Asbaty looks like through 3. Madden leading the way at 520. Mason Taylor in second, followed by Jason Grofus. U12 girls. Ruby French, followed by Olivia Portillo, Brinley Cole. U15 boys, Dawson Cole plus 28, Tyler Williams plus 23. Anthony Swanson, plus 17. Zane Shaughnessy is plus 11. I would argue that the U15 boys division might be one of the more difficult divisions, not only just here, but even at junior gold. I mean, the talent level in that division, both boys and girls, is incredible. Speaking of the U15 girls, Allison Roberts, we just saw her finish things up. She's minus 19. But right now, with an outstanding lead so far here. In U18 boys, Ramiro Garcia plus 86. He had the very nice 270 game earlier today. Dylan Murray at plus 57. Jacob Chavez. Chavez got to 263. He missed the spare, unfortunately, but he did shoot 263 in game 3. So the high game still belongs to Ramiro Garcia at 276. Garcia went 234, 276, then 176. And again, with bowl metrics, you can not only see the totals, but you can also see the individual games of the block scores. And in U18 girls, right now totals after 3. Let's see, Malaya Chavez at minus 51, Gianna Brandolino at minus 52, Abigail Starkey at minus 75. So Brandolino and Starkey both moved from U15 now to U18. I was talking to Mr. and Mrs. Starkey, who are celebrating 18 years today. 18 years of marriage. Shout out to the Starkeys. And Mrs. Starkey even celebrating a birthday. I believe she turned 21 is what the word on the street is. 21 years of age. So shout out to Beth and Brad. We appreciate them. Big spare. That's going to allow Ainsley to get to the 150. She looks back. Still looking around. She might be waiting for someone to get her a different bowling ball, perhaps. Or she's going to try, yep, she's going to try one that she had on the rack. Oh, that's a good break. 8 souls in her looking like, wow. His game started very well, and then a couple of splits. Split in the 6th, and then the gutter spare, and then it's been 9 spare, 9 spare, and hopefully another 9 spare here in the 10th frame. All right, 158 for Ainsley as Gracie will finish it out. Samantha shot 157. The middle of the lane, as we talked about earlier on this pattern, and we'll get the ratio again. I believe I'm going to go look at it, but it's about as close to 1-to-1 as you will find certainly on the Elite Youth Tour. And because of that, the middle of the lane is extremely flat, and so when you see some of these bowling balls that look erratic, and it's not really the player and poor execution, they're just maybe in a part of the lane that they don't know exactly what they're going to get every time. So if you miss, and no bowler's perfect, so you anticipate miss. If you miss in, you see a lot of bowling balls going left. If you miss right, you may see some that actually are taking 3 off the right. So it is very specific on, if you're going to try to play the middle of the lane, I mean, you've almost got to be perfect in doing it. But the same can be said if you're trying to play the outside part of the lane too, because we've seen our fair share of gutters as well. Puts a premium today on, and as always, but this pattern here, shot making. Shot making and spare shooting, things we often talk about. Definitely on display here. Taverna. And see, Nate's got a little bit of room, right? He's able to give it away ever so slightly, but he's not in the middle part of the lane, right? He was still probably about 9, 10, maybe even 8 at the arrows, but looked to be throwing something that was completely controllable, and my guess is urethane, which if you're looking for a complete control, quote unquote, urethane is, unless you get some specifically drilled, laid out, etc. But urethane kind of gives players, and especially this generation, with higher rev rates, players with an understanding of what they watch on the PBA and the PWBA tours, they understand where to throw urethane, when they should throw it, and how it matches up with their game. You might even argue maybe they understand it even better than some of our players back in the day. All right, officially now into game number 4. And this time I'll make sure I send that graphic live. Emil Williams Jr., Riley Smith is back with us. I almost called you Riley Spear, who is a great youth player. But you're not him. But you were a great youth player.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
He's left-handed.
Riley Spear. I haven't heard of Riley Spear before.
Excellent player.
Out of?
I don't know why Indy is calling my name, but I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right. Kentucky?
Okay.
Actually, Indiana.
Indiana?
Yep.
Very cool. Spelled the right way too.
Yes. Same spelling. He has a brother who is excellent as well.
All right. Shout out to the Rileys out there.
All right, for the first time today, we see Guy Carbonaro. We see Luke Switalski. We see Rush Steen and Skylar Petz. Pretty good pair for rev rate. Got a couple of two-handers on the pair. We see Rush really starting to come into his own. When we talk about the physical maturation, Rush is really starting to grow kind of into his physical game as well. Big shout out to Rush's dad, Brandon Coach Steen. They are holding a Midwest Youth main event tournament at the end of September. It's actually the 29th and 30th of September into October 1st. So that weekend in Waterloo, Iowa. So it'll be similar in regards to the divisions that'll be represented. It is a 2-day event across 2 centers. If you haven't already and you're thinking about it, make sure you check out the Midwest Youth main event. I appreciate Coach Steen. Bullstream TV will be on site providing live coverage.
Nice. I will tune in to check out some of that bowling. That's great.
We appreciate it. I appreciate the Steen family.
That's great. Iowa has a lot of good stuff out there. They, for bowling wise, right? They got the Greater Iowa tournaments that are held out there, and I'm sure there's other events but the Greater Iowas are well known in the adult world. So
Yes.
that's good to see that youth is taking a main event out there.
That is, the Greater Iowa Scholarship Tour. Not only obviously for the adults like you just talked about, but there's also a youth tour that has been running probably, I don't know, at least 50 years. I'm just guessing, 40
Excellent.
years. It was something that actually I had a fair share of events bowled in as a youth competitor. A little disappointed I didn't get started a little sooner. That was a tour you'd want to be on. Each and every week, bowling with the likes of, if you're familiar with some of these names just off the top of my head, Eric Vermillier, Matt McNeil. I mentioned Brian Valena. We get a lot of collegiate players actually from around the country to come out and bowl. I'm happy I didn't have to bowl against A.J. Chapman. It was enough bowling with, against Matt and Eric and Brian, Dusty Roseman, for example. Two quality shots early by Rush and using something that's a bit shiny. And there we saw Nate got that one to about the half board, and it came roaring back. And it's the first time, really, if you say outside of, we saw Eason kind of getting it to the half board a little bit earlier, and it would overreact. So there's a little bounce, as Riley talked about earlier when describing the pattern. And we'll do that again since we are about game 4 now. So good time, the opportunity to reset the broadcast. Luke, talking about growing into the physical game. Luke has probably grown, I don't know. It's hard for me to judge, but I'm just going to say 5 inches of height.
Yeah.
For Luke. When I first started working on this tour, he was a little short, but still powerful.
Yes.
Now he's taller. And again, like we talked about earlier, we were talking about Tyler and just continuing to kind of refine as the physical growth actually does take place. There are some changes that happen. And typically, the one thing I learned about youth bowlers very early on is the ability to kind of retain and then put whatever change you want them to make in motion. They can do it almost instantly, right? It doesn't take a lot of reps at their age.
Yeah.
Us,
we're setting our
especially
ways.
me, it might take like 8 weeks.
Try to prevent the bad habits from becoming a normal habit for you. And that the growth is something that is really, it can be really difficult to handle as far as, longer legs, longer arms, taller bodies and things like that. You might start at the front dots and now you just grew 4 inches. Now you have to start at the back dots. And then your feet are also growing, so you might be fouling more often because you're not used to your longer feet or whatever the case is when you're growing. So there is, because you're only, if we're a bowling lane, right, you only have this set approach. You can't go any further back than that. So you do have to work on footing a lot. And that was one thing that a well-known two-handed lefty, Wesley Lowe, I know, I've been really close with him throughout the years. And he had a big growth spurt, whatever years it was, 1 year from junior gold to the next. And he said the biggest thing he had to work on was changing with how fast he grew. He's never been a tall person, right? But he grew enough to where it made an impact on where he stood, the steps that he took, and the timing of everything within his approach. It was so drastic that he had to adjust on that. And, of course, did a great job. He's still a spectacular bowler.
Yep.
So everyone goes through it. It was fun to see a caliber bowler of his his level go through that.
Great individual, too. Great young man. One of my highlights of my broadcasting career in this sport specifically was watching Wesley win the 2018, maybe 2018 U.S. Amateur Championship.
Yes. Yep.
And he fooled me on the pins did it on what for about 2 seconds was a 9-pin leave, a devastating 9-pin, and then something flies off the sidewall and kicks it for him to get the first one to shut out John Janowitz, ironically enough, who helped create this weekend's lane patterns.
Yeah, and that was. Were you broadcasting that event?
At that particular one, yes.
Yeah. I think I remember that distinct. Because the pin stood for a second.
A second.
And then a crazy messenger come across. And
it was a mixed emotion. It was
yeah.
It was a oh.
I do recall that. Yeah. That's a great sport moment right there. It really is. Yeah.
Rush. Right, maybe set that one down a little early. Got it left. Skylar Petz. 10th frame upcoming on 29 and 30. We've had the delays, but I think the field has been pretty solid for the most part about recognizing if they have to wait, and then the players who obviously are behind getting done and keeping the pace as best as they can. That's got to hook a little. So Bechtel on your right, Luke Switalski on your left.
Great job by Luke.
2 strikes for both.
Did we talk through? You may have already. Apologies if I'm bringing this up again. But did we talk about the raffles that we have going on and all the excellent stuff coming in?
No, let's talk about it.
Okay. All right. Let's pull. I want to make sure we discuss the right stuff. But we'll set it up as here at the EYT Battle Royale specifically. We like to go that extra mile. So today we have a lot of different things available, and starting at the merchandise area, we have new small items like pins, keychains, backpack chains, magnets, even drink coasters. A lot of small. Those are really cool items and various different logos. Very creative mindset from Diandra, who pioneered that. So. Cool merchandise over there. We have a specific color of the EYT Battle Royale this year. You'll see a couple people with the jerseys on today, and we always do it for the major tournament Battle Royale. So you'll see that. It's available at the merchandise area as well. And the coolest part of this whole thing is our silent auction. So I don't want to disclose any information that I shouldn't say. So I'll try to make sure, we've got a sheet here. We've got many talented professional athletes. This is going to be professional bowlers, a professional basketball player, and then a couple of professional baseball players as well, courtesy of the White Sox and Chicago Bulls. So very exciting stuff. We have their autographs, jerseys, bats. That's pretty much it. We have a signed ball as well. And I'll go through some of the exciting names that we have on that list. It's a silent auction, and a couple of the names today. I won't disclose the names tomorrow, but we have a couple of big-ticket items tomorrow that are very exciting. But today, professional bowlers, we've got A.J. Johnson, Shannon O'Keefe, E.J. Tackett, Francois Leroy, Diana Zavalova, Verity Crawley, Brianna Cote, Stephanie Zavala, Diandra Asbaty, and then a couple of professional other sport athletes, Luis Robert from the White Sox, Chicago White Sox. We have a bat. We've got a Bulls jersey, Zach Levine, very talented basketball player.
I kind of want that one myself.
Yeah, go after it.
I'm thinking about it.
And we've also got a Dylan Cease White Sox jersey and Bulls tickets to a suite in the Bulls United Center.
Shout out to Dr. Weems for his donation of the tickets.
Very nice of him.
You definitely want to get in on that. I meant to ask: is it? Do we have to be? You have to be in person? Can you send a bid through someone?
I mean, you could go through someone. Yeah, you could go through
Is that
someone.
possible?
Yeah, yeah. So if someone out there wants a stab at one of these items, yeah, you could message someone that's here and request that you get added to the list and throw in the dollar amount and whatnot. I'm sure we could figure out a way to get the payment and get that item to you if you were to win. So really exciting. I love seeing that. And it's so perfect for the youth bowlers. Many of these professional athletes that I mentioned, whether it's, particularly for bowling, a couple of those names, Shannon O'Keefe, Player of the Year on the PWBA this year.
Yep.
It's a full jersey and the skirt comes with it, signed, autographed. That's many of these bowlers, they look up to them. That's their idols, that's their role models, and have an opportunity to get some really cool memorabilia is a good I think add to the EYT. And then also Stephanie Zavala, who just won Zavala. She just won the PWBA championship.
Yep, tour championship. She is she shot 752, I believe it was, for her 3 games on television.
Dominating performance. So major champion now. We have a bowling ball that she signed.
Yeah, you want to get that one because that value is going up.
Yes, yes. And it's interesting. I've gotten slightly into the memorabilia, sports memorabilia scene.
Okay.
It's very, very minimal, but I've noticed that the price of autographs and things like that, they go up if they have anything inscribed, such as 2021 Rookie of the Year, 2022 Player of the Year, things like that. And Stephanie's bowling ball has on there 2021 Rookie of the Year.
It does.
So that boosts the value of it slightly.
Rustin trying to boost his value. Nathan Taverna had the high game on 29 and 30 with 222. Josh Medea shot 208. That's a couple of scores on 29 and 30. They are off. And we'll begin game 5. Game 4 will end here momentarily. Sotalski looking for 4 in a row. And Riley, man, really touched on a lot of really good stuff in regards to the silent auction and the memorabilia. And apparently, I've been told by multiple people, it's a good shot. That and you just mentioned it again. There's some big ticket items for tomorrow that will be on display that cannot be named. That's impressive. Now that gets the brain kind of turning. Like, well, I mean, who at that level, right? If we're not telling the people who it is, I'm like,
yeah, we're gonna take it up a notch.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, we've already got Zach Levine. We've got Louis Robert.
Can we get Michael Jordan?
Got Dylan Cease. Now, right. I mean, if you're telling me tomorrow we've got MJ, then might have to call a wife. Like, hey,
we're opening up the bank today.
I think there's gonna be some money missing, potentially.
Yeah, we're gonna step our game up a little bit tomorrow with those autographs and the memorabilia. So keep an eye out. We'll definitely inform the group on tomorrow's broadcast what we have.
All right, I'll be looking out for that. Madden Asbaty, Ben Linares. Got a good story about Ben Linares, too, coming up.
Okay.
Ruby French jersey Asbaty on this pair. Ruby, I think, was leading U12 girls for at one point earlier today. We'll check scores here after we'll let our game 4 officially finish up. And here on 27 and 28, team with a 4-9. Jersey, strike.
That was 10 back. Ruby's here with her whole family. She's got her mother here, and then two of her sisters. I didn't know. I believe it's Ruby, Gracie, and Samantha, I believe, is
Correct.
the third sister. And I don't think we've met Samantha before. It sounded like this might have been one of her first events.
Yeah, I don't recall. I didn't recall seeing her name, but I looked at Samantha and I looked at Gracie and I said they've got to be related. You know, you don't want to go too far as to say they're twins, but they there was no doubt they were related.
Yeah.
And Brindley Cole, who I believe was the younger sibling of Dawson and Addison.
That's
So
correct. Yeah.
I'm sure we'll have 3 Coles at some point, all champions
Oh, yeah.
on the Elite Youth Tour here in the future.
Oh, yeah.
That could even be this weekend. Ella Kate Murray just to the right, and Ellie and her 2 siblings, or no, 3. And she has a sister and 2 brothers. I've learned a lot of this recently. Actually, Junior Gold taught me a lot.
Yeah, they're all there together, right? They're also in that
Yes.
atmosphere. You're like here, everyone's bowling at the same time, but when you're out at Junior Gold, only one bowler typically. You'll spot out the squads where each bowler could support the other and things like that. So I'm sure you had a lot of conversations with other family members.
Yeah, just watching, the kids, obviously, and then seeing photos of, obviously the kids and the parents interacting with one another. The Murray family was hanging out a lot with the Jordans and, the Brandolinos and the Starkeys and whatnot. So it was like, wait, yeah, they do bowl. Wow,
Things start
I thought
clicking.
that. Yeah.
Anthony Swanson just to the right of us on 31 and 32 with a nice start, double spare strike. Recent winner of the Junior PBA, I believe.
I think he
Junior
did win
PBA
a PBA Junior event.
There's Jersey Asbaty. She is supporting our EYT Battle Royale new design this year. That's the new color. I'm not even going to try and tell you what color that is because I'm bad with colors. I just
blue.
know it looks cool.
It's a form of blue. It is a nice color. Guy didn't stick the balance there, didn't stick the landing. He crosses over and unfortunately leaves a 5-10. Saw him at Junior Gold this year as well. Nice. Again, trying to just control the pocket. Linares, that's got a hook. And just a little bit too much. So Ben Linares, I don't know, I'm going to check to see which parent is here. I met his dad, Steve, at Junior Gold, along with Ben. And we did a Junior Gold live show during the trade show for Bowl TV, which is the USBC official streaming service, official streaming service of the PWBA. So I'm with Bowl TV, and Ben, they had lined up Ben for an interview. We've got this nice little booth couch set up, a couple couches. It's really like a talk show, but that's the feel, the look. That's what we're going for here.
Yeah.
Nice job again by Switalski. He's going to be in the 230s, and so I basically had about 90 seconds to 2 minutes to basically get to know Ben, right? Which is not a lot of time.
Not at all.
Before you get someone on an interview couch and got to ask him some questions. Now, thankfully, our guy Brian Kane was there. He kind of did a little prep, so he gave me a few items to kind of discuss. So talked to Ben, just got some quick items, and so we're doing the interview. He's great, man, just great. He's from North Carolina. Buffalo Lanes North is his home center. Melissa McDaniel, who's the USBC president. Nice job, Luke Switalski, 238. Runs a great youth program prior to there at Buffalo Lanes North. Great youth program.
That's where she came out of, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, that's our center. Does great work. And so we're talking about that, and we're just kind of talking about Ben's bowling, when he started, and he was telling me he was getting into some other sports. And he's mentioned golf. He mentioned basketball. And so he was starting to watch basketball. And so he had an idea of obviously what are the new generation's top players are: Steph Curry, LeBron, right? And so I hit Ben with the question about, Ben, do you know who Michael Jordan is? Great Phil for Rush 189. And he said yes. Then I had to ask him, Riley.
I know
12-year-old Ben.
The biggest question in the world, isn't it?
12-year-old Ben. Who's better?
Yep.
Who you taking, Mike or LeBron? He took about 5 seconds. Nice shot by Madden. And he said Michael Jordan. And then I said, Ben, you just earned yourself 2 more minutes of this interview. No, he was great, man. He really was. His responses to the questions, thoughtful, insightful. Someone to me who could hold, public office. Like that's the impression that I got from Ben.
Good.
He might be the next president.
Is he a U12 or U15?
He is U12.
All right.
Not sure when his birthday was, but he still should be in the U12 division. I'll double check, actually. Let's take a look at bowl metrics. There we go. Oh, maybe he's not anymore. Maybe he's moved up to U15.
Yep, it's the start of the new
That's true, you're
season,
right.
I believe.
He is now in U15
so
boys.
he aged out. Okay.
He was in U12 boys a month ago in July.
All right.
For a junior gold. Good shot. If
double by Madden.
Madden's got some cheering section too. He's getting the bowl with his sister jersey. That's pretty cool, right?
Oh yeah, that's really cool. Jersey's second season now on the EYT, and I see a big swarm of people that just walked in. I friends, relatives. I'm unsure what that is, but that's the cheering section. And I overheard someone said, "We're your good luck charm."
Well, hey, you can never have enough of those. Shout out to Ben's mom, Ivy Linares. Ivy, if you are watching, I haven't forgot about your request. Ironically enough, I was actually working on that yesterday or 2 days ago without knowing Ben was going to be here. So that must have been magic, the way the world is supposed to work.
Timing is everything.
In that sense. If you are just joining us, you're watching the Battle Royale. This is now officially Game 5 of 6. We will await our new pair on 27 and 28. Looks like they are just about done, so they'll be on their way here shortly. Jacqueline Poro, Sebi Vetter. Just a couple of the names who are going to join us here on the Elite Stream, courtesy of Bowl Stream TV. Madden Cross is over. 8 count here in the 6th frame. I'm with Riley Smith. And Riley, while we have a quick moment, let's kind of rehash the convo regarding what the players, what the youth bowlers are competing on today, which is junior gold. Oh, no, sorry, not junior gold. These patterns are specially crafted this week by John Janowitz, one of the Kegel mainstays, super knowledgeable individual.
Yeah.
But help create these lane conditions. This one's a short pattern. And while we have a moment, I can throw it up on the screen on the left side right before that pair begins to
perfect.
To bowl a little bit.
Cool. So let's take you through it. We did touch base on this at the start of the tournament. So let's do a mid report of what we're seeing. So the key metrics here, it's a 36-foot pattern. The volume oil total is 25 milliliters. The ratio is 1.7 to 1, which makes it an extremely sport compliant pattern. And this is nearly as difficult as you'll see at like professional events such as the US Open, the USBC Masters. So as far as a ratio, it is a challenging pattern by the graph. Now, if you look a little bit deeper into it, mentioned earlier, John Drenowitz is extremely knowledgeable in his pattern making. A lot of experience in that realm. So if you were to focus on the blue lane to the right of the screen of the picture, or even the lines that are below that blue screen, the pattern, you'll see that boards 1, 2, 3, and 4 have a lower amount of oil on those boards. And what that means is more friction would occur when your ball hits those boards. So although it is a really tight, flat oil pattern, which would be a little bit more difficult, we have a little bit of bounce because of lower friction, higher friction, lower oil on boards 1 through 4. So the challenge today is our bowlers trusting themselves to be right of that first arrow, whether it's on the right side or the left side of the lane, the first arrow closest to the gutter. That's the big challenge today, is trusting it to get over there and stay away from the gutter. So overall, that's what we're looking at, 36 feet. And I think this will be the lowest scoring pattern of the 3 patterns that we'll put out at the Battle Royale.
Thank you, sir. If you have any questions on the lane pattern, or how you might attack it, or anything of that nature, don't hesitate to drop a question in the comment section.
I'll mention that now we're game 5, correct? Of 6. Transition, it's typically very apparent. I wonder if it has to do, the transition hasn't been very apparent, but typically it is. And I'm wondering if it's not as apparent because of the new lane surface that's being bowled on today. It was just installed within the last month, so I wonder if it's still trying to build up that topography and the lay of the lane a little bit. It's settling. The boards might be trying to adjust to, with the new climate and whatnot, but I haven't seen too much transition. What we saw at the start of the tournament, the successful bowlers, it still looks to be the same line that is successful later in the block. So that's an interesting, what's the reason why behind it? Kind of hard to put your finger on that right now. And we'll see maybe, with later today we have a second block, and then tomorrow in our third block, if the transition is similar to what we're seeing on the short pattern, then we might be able to relate it to the new lane surface. So overall, you want to stay close to the gutter. I've seen a lot of success with a couple of urethane balls where the bowlers are crossing 6 or so, 6, 7, and then keeping that ball on around that 4 board at the break point. So pretty close to the gutter, and it's been, I would say, consistent all day.
Good stuff from, almost called you Riley Spear again. Riley Smith. I do the same thing now with Melanie McDaniel and Melissa McDaniel. And that was nearly split conversion. What was that?
That was fourth through the face. And he barely, so Brandon Caruso barely tipped the 3-pin, barely touched it. And then things just started flying everywhere. And he somehow left, I think it was the 6, 7 remaining of that 4 through the face. That was wild. Bowling is so crazy. That was wild to see. Anyways. I forget what we were talking about.
Well, I was talking about me calling you Riley Spear.
Oh, that part. And then Melanie.
And I've done the same with Melanie McDaniel and Melissa McDaniel. Melanie is a professional bowler. Husband is Ryan. Daughter is Rylan.
Yeah.
And does great work for us here at the Elite Youth Tour. Melissa McDaniel is the USBC president and runs a great youth program and runs things down at Buffalo Lanes North in Raleigh, North Carolina. 2 completely different people.
Yeah.
But it's easy to do. There's a brief hesitation every time I open up to say.
Very similar.
Well, which person am I talking about? And now I've done that with you. With Riley and Riley, Spear and Smith. Ashlyn Tevis, Jacqueline Poro. We mentioned Sebi Vetter.
A couple of awesome EYT Battle Royale shirts in front of us as well. Another couple of good examples. They pre-ordered those, so they're able to get their names dye supplemented on the back of them. Thanks High Five Gear for the tremendous support on these jerseys and all of our champions jerseys. Sevy's in there. He's deeper than we've seen from other bowlers. He's a powerful player, but not the most powerful in our field today. So he's a little bit further left, and I believe that's a urethane ball that he's throwing. Could be a purple hammer. Looks like it is. And he's a little bit further in, which is interesting, controlling the pocket, but that weak 10 there, it seemed like that ball was covering too many boards and then lost energy in the back end, and then when it finally hits the head pin, it's a little bit weaker. And then that's where it results in the 6-pin falling into the gutter and the 10-pin stands. So I'm curious if it's by design that he's staying in there just to control the pocket, or if maybe he were to move maybe a board or so, 2 boards to the right, and retain a little bit more energy, if that would give him better pin action in the back end.
Thomas Creighton-Poth, Ryan Luker. I've seen Ryan now a few times, recently too, at Elite Youth Tour events. That's got a hook.
It sure did.
Enough to get the 4-5-7 out. I just learned some information, Riley, courtesy of one Phil Switolski, that Luke's, of course, Luke just shot 238 on 27 and 28. Luke's older sister, Lucy, is a graduate of Lindenwood University.
No way.
How about that? My alma mater.
Lindenwood.
So we now share a connection.
That's
we shared
awesome.
one before because Luke and the family knows of Brian Belmonte. So there was a connection there. And now we can say that we've got another alum. How about that? That's pretty cool.
That is very cool.
Shout out to Lucy Switolski.
Yeah. Congrats on she graduated, correct? Yeah.
Yeah, she is a graduate.
Congratulations.
And
That's
she's
awesome.
in St. Pete. I do hope and that area of the country went through some recent violent flooding.
Yeah.
And not to the extent of portions of Kentucky, but certainly for St. Louis and its surrounding areas, it was a bit of a struggle for many regarding some flooding. So I hope all is well there. But how about that? I hope to see you at some point in person. We'll talk about this alum situation we've got going on now.
That's awesome. Great, beautiful campus down there, Lindenwood, St. Charles.
Oh, they
Missouri.
did it up,
Beautiful
man.
campus.
Of course,
Yeah,
after we left, but I can tell Lucy all the older stories about things that didn't exist, perhaps prior to I don't know what year she went there, but
The old back in my day.
I'm guessing it definitely wasn't when I did, and so I can give her a different light on the how campus used to.
Oh, unfortunate break by Ryan on lane 27 there. He is getting it to peel. He started the game, I believe intentionally, way deeper than he did the last 3 shots, and he found it here. I'm curious if he was searching for some type of ball reaction, figured, why not? I'll try to play a little further left, see what happens. Didn't like the result, and it looks like he immediately went back to the right, and he's found much better. Exactly what we were talking about. You know, this is a good example of the 1, 2, 3, 4 boards that are providing that bounce, and it's good to see that he saw that immediately and comes back with a double 9 spare.
How important is that recognition, and is that?
Oh, careful.
Hopefully Jersey's okay. Hopefully Jers is all right. She seemed to be okay. Kids are resilient.
Yeah, I think she's shaking it off.
All right, Linares, the high player on that squad at 145, or on that pair, excuse me. Ben now in the U15, and Madden is still in U12, if my memory is right. I was asking a question about experience, recognizing what you just talked about with Ryan. Is that from experience, you know, the reps and being in varying situations and being able to recognize, okay, it's not what I thought, let's make the transition right, left, whatever it is?
Yeah, that's experience. It's also coaching. If you know, coaches around the area with him right now, coaching and experience is definitely going to drive that quick change. Yeah, I mean, if he would have, I'm guessing that he had done that before, where he started the game, tried to move in on a short pattern, understands the situation, makes a couple of shots, and I'm guessing like, whoa, okay, I've seen that before. That is not correct. Let me reevaluate what I'm doing on a short pattern here today. But experience is 100% going to drive that decision. And it's a big thing as youth bowlers continue to grow, expand their knowledge and whatnot. They get heavy coaching as a young bowler into college, but then after that, you're on your own for the most part. You go to these tournaments, you're on your own. You might have a couple of close buddies that you drive with or travel with, but you're on your own for the most part. So experience is going to get you to make those changes. And so I'd be looking to bounce back, excuse me, after
I like bounce back, or back bounce.
back bounce after a couple of tough frames, and does nicely. Covers up one open with a double now. He'll look to continue that. A fun tidbit from today, I don't think we're going to see Brandon Caruso on our live pair. He's just to the left right now.
He's going to be
and
just
then
to the
he'll
right,
be
too.
just to the right. And I want to pull this up to make sure I get this correct. So on our Facebook page, but how our viewers are catching the stream right now, we have a nice sponsorship from Bowl Dry Enterprises, and it's a mystery score winner. And Brandon today won the mystery score in game number 1 with a 242. That is a random number, mystery score winner, Brandon Caruso. So congratulations. He got a nice package from Bowl Dry Enterprises.
Is this it?
There you go. You have the photo. Love it.
I was ready for it.
So we have a couple of things. I think we have fans that Bowl Dry helps us out with. Nice equipment to keep your body cool and dry in between shots.
Shout out to Bowl Dry Greg. Make sure you visit them. Visit them specifically at bowldry.com. Again, bowldry.com. .242 is not a bad start, by the way.
No, game 1,
I'll take
242, yeah. And he was also on the high-end pair, which can be very tricky sometimes.
Okay.
Sebi connects with a nice turkey. So interesting numbers thing here is, you know, bowling goes off of plus minus 200. Yep. So if you shoot 201, you're +1. If you shoot 199, you're -1. So in order to pace at a even score of 200, if you were to have an open in the middle of a game, you need 2 strikes in a row to cover up that open and bring it back to the even number pace. So technically here, you know, it's not exact science, right? It's not going to get you exactly 200 on the nose, but it's going to get you really close to that, like 206, you know, time score range. So technically he needs 1 more strike here. He'll be back to the even pace, and that will actually put him over that even pace. So if you're thinking about the plus-minus scores, the next shot here for Sebi, pretty important to keep him around that 200 number.
Jacqueline Poro, she's an EYT champion. She's won on this tour before. This is the end of game 5, right?
Yes.
Okay. But some people are in game 6, right?
That's correct as well.
Okay. Push.
You got lucky on that one. That's the challenge of being further left on short patterns. You were touching on it probably 20 or so minutes ago. That's the challenge. You're left in the middle of the lane. There's not a lot of oil.
If you were bowling, Riley, what equipment do you think you would be using?
I would probably say urethane.
And feel free to be very specific if you'd like.
Yeah. Well, I would be, to be honest, at this point, I'm not very sharp. I haven't bowled for probably a month or longer at this point. So with it being a short pattern, I would try to throw urethane. I rely on the pitch black by Storm heavily. That's what I would turn to. I think it would give me, and I would really focus on, I was talking earlier, up the back ball roll. Really focus on staying up the back of it, and then ball surface based on what the reaction is. But I would lean towards urethane. I think it would give me the largest margin of error and leave makeable spares that I could shoot at. Of course, I would give reactive a try, but looking at the scoring pace and what's working for bowlers, I think my pitch black would be going down the lane.
I'm pretty sure this was the same player who won the event in June. Speaking of Ashlyn Tevis. But, and if it's not, but I don't think, I think I'm right. She's from McChesney Park, Illinois, which is, I believe, technically would be a suburb in Rockford. But essentially Rockford, she goes to Harlem High School. I think she had just finished up middle school, if I'm not mistaken. And I believe she was the middle school state champion after talking to her parents. But I came away completely impressed with not only how she handled herself in the finals, but just throughout. I mean, she was almost borderline dominant in the finals. And you can see her game now, smooth. Gets to A to B with great. We were talking about momentum, smoothness.
Yeah.
That shot there by Sebi.
Good, very, very good shot. After a Brooklyn out and you throw a good one like that, hey, got to roll with the punches.
But Ashland tie game 299, high series 791.
Wow, you mentioned, sorry, U12?
She should be now in U15.
U15 now, yeah, she's just starting high school.
I think she was in U15 when she won her last title a couple months ago. She would have been at 13 at that point.
Those are great scores, 299, 791. She'll get 300. I know for sure she'll get 300.
Sebi's missed a couple of 10 pins in this game, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's tough. Now here we are again. So actually, this is where the math turns out perfectly. Is 2 opens, 4 in a row. You're back to even, and now unfortunately an open here. He needs a double to get back to a chance at the plus 200 score.
Oh my, that was almost a tough spare for Ryan Luker. More on Tevis' favorite subject in school is social studies. That's been common today, unfortunately. It's part of short patterns. The gutter typically is in play in both scenarios.
Yep.
It's in play to have a great ball reaction. It's also in play to, if you miss, to unfortunately put one in the gutter.
Yep. Yep, it's the risk that you have to take.
Correct. Well, we'll keep throwing positive things for Ashlyn here. Reading and photography, hobbies. We got 2 really good photographers here at the Elite Youth Tour, and they both are present. In Nora Russell, good spare, and Ronnie Robinson are photographers here this week. Future occupation, or I'm sorry, dream occupation for Ashlyn. Guess what it is? Without looking.
My guess, well, professional bowler, or some type of like graphic design photography.
I would say think non-bowler.
Then something photography world, so professional photographer for, I would say, weddings or sports, things like that.
Good guess, but no. Doctor.
All the power to her.
Dr.
Go
Tevis.
get it. Go get it.
We're going to call her Dr. Tevis for the rest of the term.
Go get it. That's awesome. That's awesome. I knew from a young age I wasn't going to be in the medical field. I'm not a cuts, bangs, bruises, broken bones,
Not
surgery. Ooh, I get lightheaded.
Fair enough.
I know that's not for me. I'm not so bad as I can't stand it, this and that. Like, I can handle it, but I knew I couldn't work with it, so I went towards business.
Business is important. Creighton Poth, where it breaks down to just the 5-pin. Wow. Eric Roberts comes over to 29. I don't know if he missed right. May not have been expecting what he received there, but a ton of ball reaction screaming off the gutter for a 10 in the pit. 202 there for a vetter with a couple open frames with single pins. Nice shot by Julian Ramos. Again, just the control. Well, you've seen from a ton of players, specifically those throwing urethane. Carter Hoffman is going to join us on this pair. Specifically 29 and 30 as Luker finishes things up.
Yeah, and you'll see Roberts, you mentioned it came pretty hard off the end of the pattern. He is using a reactive bowling ball instead of urethane. So you'll see a little sharper turns towards the pocket with that type of equipment. Solid game from Carter there. I don't know if I've seen Carter throw a ball before, but that's very solid. I don't know if I have. Maybe I'm forgetting, but that's a solid game. I like nothing's overly aggressive, smooth, a level backswing. It's nothing, way above his head. And that posting it at the line, there was no movement at all. His foot, ankle, leg, knee, everything was in line.
Brandon Caruso now on 31 and 32. He and his brother Ethan led Manuka to a state championship in boys bowling this year. I guess now last season. Technically the new academic athletic school year is underway. Brandon is headed to Wichita State.
Oh, is that right? I didn't see that announcement.
Yep,
awesome.
He is going to Wichita State. Tevis, by the way, finishes with 162. Vetter with the high game on that pair, 202, now officially into game 6. So, yes, Brandon is going to Wichita State. He leaves, his dad said, on Monday.
Yeah,
Actually,
school's right around the corner.
Monday morning.
Yeah, I was talking to Chloe Saziga, who's out here today. Also Sebastian, who's out here today. Sebastian Beth, and they both are at Judson, and they have a countdown of, I think it was like 7 days, 6 or 7 days.
Oddly enough, and the majority of my busy schedule throughout the year comes during the summer because I spend a lot of time on the PWBA tour, and so for me it's just a blur. And now that the tour is over, it literally was a blur, and school's about to start again. It's like, well, when I started, school was just over. Well, when the tour started, school was ending, and now the tour's ended, and
School started
quickly. So good luck to all of the EYTers who are going to be in college this semester, either for the first time or returning. All of the student athletes. Some may be bowling, some may not.
And if you go far away, don't forget about us. We'll still be here.
Come back.
So when you're back for summer, continue to sign up and bowl these EYTs. Keep you tuned up for when you have to go back to school.
That's right. Bobby Habetler. He's just off to the right. You saw him on the right of your screen. Made Junior Team USA in 2023, or for 2023, excuse me, with a top 4 finish in qualifying. He finished 7th overall.
Well deserved.
But he's headed to Indiana Tech.
Yeah.
It took me a while, but I had to learn that Bobby's family owns Habetler Bowl, if you're unfamiliar with that, in Chicago. I've only been to Habetler just a handful of times, probably more times when I was a youngster, traveling to league with my dad a lot. But, yeah, I learned that at some point last year and put 2 and 2 together. He goes to, now has finished up, I should say, his high school career at St. Patrick's, or St. Patrick High School in Chicago. It's our fault. Talking to Sebi, who said he hadn't missed any makeables until he got here, and said, hey, it's our fault, man.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have 3 in one game.
We do that to people.
Carter Hoffman with 2 pocket 10 pins, converts those spares nicely. Yeah, good reaction for Eric Roberts there.
Let me check some scores here. I feel like the one division, there it is. The one division I hadn't checked on today was the U23 division, which, weirdly enough, Brandon Caruso is now a part of. Because obviously he's now headed to collegiate. This is basically the collegiate division, U23. And as you would expect, it's got some really big names on it. By the way, Caruso plus 121 for 5, which, again, not uncommon for Brandon Caruso. Bobby Habetler now in the U23. He won in the U18 division. Bobby did Battle Royale last year. Won't have a chance to technically defend his title in that division, but he can earn another one.
Yeah.
Todd Rene Fournier earned the Bowler of the Year in U23. For that matter, Bobby won the award for his performance in the U18 division last year.
Yeah, so we've got some powerhouse coming into U23.
Yeah, Braden Kidd is there. Trevor Amir bowling today or this weekend. Nicholas Stearns. You mentioned Sebastian Beth, Anthony Araujo, Chris Little, who's won at least 2, I think, EYTs already this year. U23 is not messing around. But the U15s and the U18s, and then you watch the U12 kind of get started, if you will, getting their careers started. It's fun to watch at every level. I'm
excited. We rolled out the U23 division in the last couple of seasons, so it's relatively young still. But I'm excited to see the bowlers that graduate from U18 into the U23 division. I think we're going to get more participation in that division. It's been a little lower numbers, but I think just because it's been so new, And now that we have bowlers going into that division, it's almost like a smooth transition. Instead of trying to recruit a lot of people to come in, it's a smooth transition. They can prolong their EYT career and accept scholarship or cash if they so choose.
If you are just joining us, this is Game 6, first qualifying squad. Bowling on the short. The next squad, as we watch Barbara Lunsford here, is supposed to begin at 2 p.m. That will be 6 games on the long pattern. We will probably update you via social media whether or not we will start at that time. Just depends on what time we get done here. And obviously we've still got a few pairs to get Game 6 underway.
Yeah, so say the last game here, say it takes an extra 45 minutes or so, takes us to just past 1 o'clock Central, and then 44 lanes to oil, and I think they have 1 machine. 2 o'clock start time, it's going to be a little bit tight. So we'll have to keep you guys updated. Julian covers the bucket spare nicely. That's the 2-4-5-8 if you're a righty. He goes hard and straight at it.
Hello, Sharon. Appreciate you tuning in and watching. Seeing our view count dwindle down as the end of this block rolls around. If you see your favorite bowler, shout them out here on the Elite stream. Let us know who you're watching. Hopefully getting the same share numbers we got this morning. Appreciate everyone for sharing this this morning stream. We'll have another again this afternoon in just a couple of hours. It's either going to be at 2. At this point, I'm going to lean closer to 3.
And I would say if you know anybody that's bowling right now and you have contact with their family or friends, give them a text or tag them in the comments here and let them join in on the stream. Good opportunity to watch a full game of bowling if you're from home for their family or friends. We've got new bowlers moving in on 27 and 28. Braden Kidd is stepping up on the left lane. Lauren Brown is with us on lane 28. You mentioned a minute ago Trevor Amir. He will also be on our pair today on lane 28, the next bowler to bowl. Also the popular G-Mac, or George McCoy.
G-Mac in the building.
Best dressed today. He's got the Battle Royale jersey from last year with matching pants as well. I'll call them Battle Royale pants as well.
George has been used on a lot of EYT marketing material for his fashionable abilities. I feel Braden Kidd has been on some items as well.
Yeah. I think he has a light blue EYT jersey as well, and then matching pants that goes with that jersey. That'd be awesome if they're bowling on the same pair today for this block. We'll switch it up in the next block, but that would have been so cool to see them both on the same pair wearing those matching, not the same color blue, but to have the shirt and pants combo. That would have been awesome today. Skinny Jeans takes care of the 2-pin. Just gotta touch it, even if it's the wind to fall over.
That's right. You just got to knock it down somehow, some way. Interesting story for George McCoy here, how he started bowling.
All right.
He says, I started at 2 years old. My parents had to drag me out of the bowling alley kicking and screaming. He started bumper leagues at 2. And he started bowling the ISSTs at 8, and then found out about EYTs and started at 10. And bowling for fun and competitively ever since.
Wow.
So I don't know George's age specifically, but he's in the U23 division. He's been bowling EYT since
10 years old.
10.
Yeah, it must be close to. It's approaching 10 years, my guess.
So his age almost aligns with the amount of years, obviously, that EYT has existed, which
Yeah.
got to get the confirmed years on that. But that is, I don't want to guess, but that's about somewhere between 11. No, we just had the 10-year anniversary last year, so this is year 11.
He could have been bowling since the first tournament.
How about that?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Appreciate George for sharing this. Was looking for some opportunities and some info on our players. Great shot against Eric Roberts.
Split the 8-9.
On the Elite stream this week, so we can have some other items to discuss as the players hit the featured pairs. And many were able to take advantage. Well, we appreciate them taking the time to answer some of the items on the questionnaire.
I'll mention one more bowler we didn't talk about yet. Lauren Schaefer is also with us she'll be up next on lane 27, and then that rounds out 27 and 28.
I haven't seen Lauren in a minute, but she is often competing on the EYT as well. But some of these things you read from our athletes, man, you just say, wow, you can just see growth in just some of their answers. I'll go back to George on their bowling accomplishments. He listed learn to control my anger and emotions on and off the lanes. That takes a lot to not only write that, but recognize that was something he needed to work on.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Usually you're ready when you see those sections of forms you want to fill out that I won this, I won that. But for him to be, he was very modest with that answer to say, you know what, it was bigger than, this accomplishment was bigger than winning X tournament.
He did throw in a few, 299, 300, 800 series type items.
Yeah, absolutely.
Give him some, obviously, his credit there, but
yeah,
that was the first thing he listed, which, that speaks volumes.
Yeah, without that, maybe he doesn't have those
correct
other accomplishments that were listed.
Push. Oh.
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 Skinny Jeans on the 2-pin spare, and then we've got a little can opener action there, a little snow plow in the second frame. We're off to a good start with GMAC. Keep the fans entertained. Anthony Lizzo was here today as well, the brother of Olivia.
Why do I feel that Trevor Amir bowls somewhere collegiately? Go look that up.
Yeah, I'm speechless on that one. No answer from me.
I
We'll
feel
have to
like he
look it
bowled
up.
at St. Xavier. He did. I don't know if he's still there.
Good
Let's see.
call.
Let's see. Let's see if they have a roster listed. Not yet. How about last year, maybe? Yeah. Last year may have been his final season, perhaps.
So it looks like it's at senior there.
He's also right in that time to where, of course, COVID impacted everything, including college athletics. And so he may or may not have had the option to have a 5th year, which many collegiate players and many good ones are taking advantage of. Someone like Hope Gramley,
Yeah.
who is just, you talk about somebody ready for the tour. Hope's ready. And
Yeah.
she's going to go back to school, use her 5th year towards an athletic training master's degree, and then come out and bowl full time. And boy, she made an impact in just the few events she was a part of this year. Just saw over at Sam Houston State, Elise Chambers, and I think Elise Bea Hernandez are going back for the 5th year. Isabella Colon, who won the Bowler of the Year in the Elite Youth Tour at U18, a multi-time champion, is headed to and may be already there at Sam Houston State. She's going to begin her freshman season there. Good luck to Isa. And that's just a few of the names that I know who are returning for a 5th year bowling collegiately. Come on, Lauren. Come on. Good shot. Good shot at it.
Carter's been working hard this game. He's stepping up on lane 29. Working hard. Unfortunate miss spare there. Has a strike. Another 9 spare. Let's see if he can connect a couple here to close out this game. All starts here in the 7th. Excellent shot. Excellent shot. With a shot repeatability like that, I don't know how you don't strike every time. That is very impressive. Oh yeah, another good one. Right, that was an excellent shot track right there.
He knew it when he let it go.
Yeah, that was so Braden's playing right up 6, and he's really not getting it right of that. That could have been a 6-6 shot, so we're 6 at the arrows or at the start of the approach, and then 6 down lane at the break point. That one really didn't astray far at all, and he knew it. You could see it in his body reaction, body language. That was labeled, and the pins, of course, fell suit. Great shot again by Carter. Carter's picking up a new fan of his right now. That's an excellent physical game. Shot repeatability. Very smooth.
I think I asked you this before, Riley, but did you get a chance to bowl any EYTs?
No, not that from my memory, I was talking to my parents about this as well. I don't think I ever had the chance to. I did participate in some type of camp that Diandra and Jason put on at Diversity, but never, I don't think I ever laced them up for an EYT.
Maybe we'll get an adult tournament.
Yeah, then I can officially bowl my first one. Yeah.
Or maybe you should bowl the youth adult one day.
Yeah, I would love that. I would love that.
That's a busy day, and we would need you on staff. But I feel that obviously you would make someone's day. It'd be great person to bowl doubles with in that situation.
Another excellent shot from Eric Roberts. Unfortunate last 2 frames there, but using that reactive ball, his rev rate's a little lower than some of his peers around him. So he's throwing that reactive ball, and with the lower rev rate, it's giving him that urethane look that higher rev rate players are seeing right now. So the ball's in that skid, it's in the hook phase, and then it's rolling at the right time, making that break point a larger miss room. So still, it's demanding though. With that reactive ball, it is demanding. It's hard. You might make a minor miss here, minor miss there, and it could be compounded down lane. Ooh, good shot. That looks like an IQ tour if I had to guess. That Carter is throwing.
Smooth, controllable.
Yes, it is.
Shout out to Storm, sponsor here on the Elite Youth Tour. And as Diandra mentioned this morning, Storm has been a sponsor since the inception of this tournament, or this tour, I should say. So a big thank you to Storm. Also thank you to Turbo 2-in-1 grips, High Five Gear, High Five Bowling. They provide all of the champions jerseys. Turbo provides some accessory packs and prizes for some of our runners-up champions. Other sponsors, Gail Volschel. Really loves youth bowling and has been a proud sponsor of the Elite Youth Tour. Also, Bowlstream TV, providing exclusive live coverage here of the Elite Youth Tour for the last, I guess, I don't know. This would be the second season.
Second season? Yeah.
Big thanks to, again, Bowl Dry. You saw the mystery score with Brandon Caruso earlier. Need yourself a fan to cool off, especially inside the bowling center or off the lanes. Visit bowldry.com.
We've got Bobby just to the right of us on lane 31 about to step up, and he's gaining a lot of momentum into this 10th frame, working on 4 in a row. And I believe this is his last game, so looking to close out strong with a potential turkey in this 10th frame.
And shout out to our guy Paul Schroeder and Fast Track Physio. Check that logo bottom right of your screen there. Fast Track Physio. Paul doing great work, physical therapist. Does a lot of great work. A couple locations in the city of Chicago. Bettler with 5 in a row. That was the first one in the 10th on the right of your screen.
So we might have an opportunity to take a look at the high qualifier situation here. Was Bobby in second heading into the last game behind Brandon Caruso?
That's a great question. Let's see.
So
Let's check that out.
While you look at that, I'll give a quick detail here. We have a couple of high block, small little awards, but cool nonetheless. They're just a couple inches by a couple inches in size, and it's got the Battle Royale logo, the year and high block qualifier for the short, long, and medium patterns. And then towards the end of the event of all 18 games, we have a nice metal, I'll call it as about as big of a sheet of paper that has the high tournament qualifier. So whoever in each division, U12, U15, U18, and U23, will present those awards at the end of the 18 games, or at the end of each block and the 18-game qualifying. So I mentioned that, and that can lead us into some U23 discussion.
Indeed, it's, nothing has been updated. Caruso obviously still leading the way at plus 121. He's on this pair with Bettler, but Bobby now finishes with 239, and he was minus 34.
Okay.
So if that's right, he's going to get to plus 5. So he won't be close. Now we're doing high qualifiers per pattern, essentially per
Correct.
block. Okay.
Yes.
How about that?
So it looks like Brandon ran away with that one on today's short pattern for U23. That's a cool little thing. Just a small trinket, a little award that we'll hand out to just we'll take some time to recognize, you know, who led their respective divisions for each different pattern. Some people think of it as a mini tournament within the tournament when you bowl on different patterns.
Right.
And at the end of it, the PBA Junior League Association,
Yeah,
PBA Junior Association.
PBA Junior, just that's kind of the standalone. That's the extension of the PBA, but it's
Okay.
PBA Junior.
So they will award additional scholarship money to our high qualifiers at the end of the 18 games.
Yep. $200 scholarships, courtesy of PBA Junior. And shout out to them. That program is growing. And you see a lot of players, even right now, sporting their PBA Junior jerseys. And they participated in either regionals and or have qualified for the national competitions in these last couple of seasons.
And I think I can speak for D on this one, is that we're very excited to have a partnership with PBA Junior. Very excited. We know how important that is to all of our bowlers. It's a really big stage, televised events and whatnot, growing the sport for a lot of good reasons, in good ways, and we're just very excited to have our name associated with PBA Junior and vice versa. So we're really excited about this new partnership that we've grown.
Emil Williams Jr. with Riley Smith here in the Elite Stream booth, courtesy of Bowl Stream TV. Halfway home here in game number 6. Riley, what was on your mind there?
Oh, I was just wondering if this might be a pretty good idea as hopefully this partnership grows with the PBA Junior. How cool would it be if we turned, say, our major here, the Battle Royale, into some type of PBA Junior title?
Sure.
You know, that'd be really, really awesome to have that type of support. So
I could see that easily being the next step. And mainly, obviously, because of, you know, and I don't know what the normal format is for PBA Junior Regional, but if it's something similar to this could easily kind of step into or be just another location for a, you know, Battle Royale. It's a major on the Elite Youth Tour, and it also doubles as a PBA Junior event as well.
That could be highly recognized.
I could see that as easily being the next step. As they say, you got to crawl before you walk, but we're crawling pretty quickly here in the Elite Youth Tour. All right, looks like everyone just about on the high end of the building is complete with game 6.
And every shot here does count towards the full qualifying here at the EYT Battle Royale Major. It's 18 games, as Emil was mentioning. So these last couple of frames, whether you're having a good block or, you know, if you're having a bad block, now is really a good time to focus in, just like here, like Braden is doing. Try to catch a couple extra pins, you know. Try to increase that focus a little bit on your spares. Get a couple extra pins here, just because every game does matter. And although it's not going to make or break, but it could support you in the long run to close out strong in these last couple of frames. Oh, no. G-Mac putting on a good show here. He's got a skinny jeans 2-pin, a snow plow, and now we'll call that one a domino effect strike. Exciting stuff on lane 27 and 28. He's putting on a show.
George got some love in the chat. We see you, Josette. Thank you for hanging out and watching George here on the Elite stream. Boy, if this short pattern was as rough as it is, another long pattern, typically, it really depends on the long pattern too. Just, it can be rough, it can be somewhat strikeable, certain long patterns. Sometimes they can be a bit difficult to overcome. Any early thoughts on the long pattern upcoming here this afternoon?
Yeah, it's interesting to go from a short pattern to a long pattern. So my first thought, if I were bowling and giving advice, is that your angles are, generally your angles could be similar, but the part of the lane that you're playing is completely different. So that longer pattern, I'm expecting to see players will be deeper towards the center of the lane more often. I don't think they'll be playing the gutter like they are right now, but they need to keep their angles close and tighter like they have been on the short pattern. And the reason why is because if you miss right on a long pattern, we'll talk into the details, but missing right on a long pattern will cause your ball to float. So, if I were to prepare for this, I would keep the same mindset of angles and then expect to be a little deeper on the lane. And also different equipment. You won't, I can confidently say you won't see urethane on a long pattern. It'll be reactive bowling balls.
In there for Lauren Schaefer. She's getting closer and closer to that strike.
She's been right around the head pin each time, right around the pocket.
It's like Zane Shawkensey down there. Was that 2 teens? Looks like he can get in 2. Oh, that's got a chance. Come on.
That's a difficult spare.
Nicely done. Nice.
Challenging spare, and she converts it. She needs to teach me how to do that. We were talking earlier, 310s are not easy by any matter. Nice. Nathan, just to the left of us, makes a washout in the 10th frame, so he gets a bonus ball. Nicely done.
Braden and Trevor playing them not identical, but close. The same bowling ball.
Break point is definitely, they're really close to each other on the break point.
Trevor is probably, it looks like maybe 3-4 left at the arrows, at least at the laydown point.
A lot of experienced bowlers will tell you that the break point's the most important part of the process of breaking down lanes and reading lanes and whatnot. So there's different ways to get to that break point, but that's the all-encompassing tell of a good shot versus bad shot. You can get a good read off of it. Is if it hits that break point, what does it do?
Oh, good break there for Lauren Brown. Lois Ziga just to our left.
Chloe had her best showing at the recent Junior Gold Championships of her career. She was very excited and pleased with her showing. She could have done a little better, she admitted, but overall, she was happy with the big improvement. She attested a lot to her coaches and the experience that Judson has given her. She made both cuts in her respective division, and I believe finished in that 20 to 30 range, and so just missed that cut to the top 16 for match play.
Oh. Oh. It's a mean wrapped in right there. Mean, like the Grinch mean. All right, let's refresh here bowl metrics. See what we got coming up. What might be updated. Looks like Brandon Caruso's in the books at plus 97. Bobby Habetler did get to plus 5. Carter Hoffman, well, Braden Kidd, and is obviously yet to go. Well, he just got done. So Braden Kidd is going to be at minus 16. Trevor can get to the 2 teens. So he'd be at minus 49 if he gets all 3 in the 10th.
Oh, a little left.
Change now. Let's take a look at U18 girls. Looks like Abby Starkey leading the way at minus 96 on this short pattern. Honey Breedlove at minus 130. Elia Chavez at minus 132. Gianna Brandolino at minus 148. U18 boys. We'll have to get the I'll get the numbers on how many we're advancing tomorrow too. We got a long way to go before we get there.
Yeah.
Wow. Ramiro Garcia, we saw him shoot 276 plus 145.
Great block. 224 average.
Yep. And Jacob Chavez, who had the front 9. Nice finish for McCoy. Chavez had the front 9 earlier today on 37 and 38. He finishes at plus 11. He shot 263 that game. Speaking of, Griffin Jordan minus 2, Landon Jordan minus 3. Again, that you don't often see Landon and Griffin in negative numbers, even though it's single digits. It's just you're just not used to seeing that.
And I would highlight that as something to keep an eye on for our viewers. Is both the Jordans right around even, but they're 145, 148 pins back of the lead. I'm going to really enjoy this chase the second 6 games here, and then the third block tomorrow morning. I'd be curious to see, with what we're expecting, a little bit open of a shot, a little bit higher scoring pace. Can Garcia keep this scoring pace? And if he does, can Griffin, Landon, etc. with the field make up any pins? So
storylines from one Riley Smith. I like it. Yeah, it's pretty close, U18 boys. Obviously, aside from Ramiro. Aiden Cole at minus 14, Dylan Murray minus 15, Ethan Caruso minus 33, Shooter Garlish minus 39. Come on.
Oh, great spare.
And Lauren. Let's go get to over 100 this game.
2 nice spares in a row.
Good count here. Allison Roberts at right now minus 87. And if that's correct, she is way out in front at the U15 girls division at the moment. We'll have to see where Macy Jones ends up here, but it might be the Roberts and Macy Jones.
This has a chance to strike. Get up.
Show. Come on.
Carry it. Great shot again.
Nice finish for Lauren. It looks like there are maybe a few shots still going down the lane, down on 3 and 4, it looks like. Is that right?
Yes. Yep.
U15 boys, Luke Switalski, plus 144
Nice.
for Luke. And we said Ramiro was at plus 145. So Switalski gets the plus 144 in the short pattern. Anthony Swanson plus 90. Tyler Williams plus 62.
3 bowlers in the plus in U15.
It's pretty impressive there.
Yeah.
Gavin Murray at minus 24. Zane Shaughnessy minus 41. Sebi Vetter minus 47. That's your first 6 with Dawson Cole 7th at minus 55. And Mike and Hebegger minus 76 in 8th place. In U12 girls, Olivia Portillo and Ruby French battling it out for the top spot with Ellie Kate Murray and Brindley Cole closing in. And in U12 boys, Eason Taylor and Madden Asbaty pretty close, just separated by 15 pins with Jason Grothus and Emmett Larson nearby as well. Well, I think that's going to about do it for us for the time being. It's a good opportunity to say so long for now. We've got just a few shots remaining down on 3 and 4. We are scheduled to still begin. Haven't heard the official announcements yet at 2. All right, 2 p.m. is going to be the number. I'm sorry, the time. So 2 p.m. Central is going to be the time we begin, 2 p.m. Central. So be back with us. You're checking. You'll see the notifications pop up, of course, on Facebook. I want to thank Riley Smith. We just talked about what he expects. We should see a few more strikes. Congrats to those who bowled well early on this very tough lane condition. Not the easiest, and we just ran down who, quote-unquote, made it look a little easier than others. So congrats to the great bowling that we did see this morning. We'll see more of that this afternoon. That is coming up next. The long pattern will be on display here on Bowl Stream TV and the Elite Stream. Want to thank Fast Track Physio. Again, shout out to Paul Schroeder, his logo, bottom right of your screen. Big thanks to Bowl Dry. Bowl Dry, the official, I guess now the official fan of the Elite U Tour. There's Bowl Dry right there. Shout out to Greg. And bowldry.com, and of course Paul, Fast Track Physio, for all of your physical therapy needs. High Five Gear, Storm, Turbo, Volschel, Gail Volschel, and of course Bullstream TV. We thank each and every one of you. We've got plenty more action. We've got a silent auction. We'll go through those items once again. Riley will join me yet again, and we'll talk about this long pattern when we open up the broadcast at 2 p.m. Central. Until then, we thank all of you for tuning in. Appreciate you sharing. Thank you to the team, Diandra Asbaty, Melanie McDaniel. Who else is here this week?
Kayla Crawford.
Kayla Crawford.
Megan Sapansky.
Megan Sapansky. Aretha is here. Rochelle is here. Corbin is here.
Ronnie.
And Ronnie and Nora. So both of our photographers are here as well. Big thanks to Jeff Bailey and his crew here at Joliet Town and Country Lanes for hosting this wonderful event this weekend. We'll have a brief break for lunch, and then we're off until 2 p.m. We'll see you then for Riley Smith. My name is Emil Williams Jr. It's been a presentation of Squad 1, the Battle Royale here on Bowl Stream TV.
Begin at 2 p.m.